go. Okay, so the title of my talk today is Keep the Light On. Many of us are of an age where we remember this, right? The Motel 6 ad, right? We'll leave the light on for you. I think they dropped that. I don't think they use that anymore.
Yeah, they do.
They still use that? Okay. We'll leave the light on for you. You know, that brings some images to mind. What images does that bring for you?
Welcoming.
Welcoming.
You know,
No, you said something. I didn't hear it.
you know, when like Mary and Joseph were going to the village, you know, the lights.
Oh,
the doorway.
The lights in the doorways at Christmas, the star at Christmas, right? All of that. We'll leave the light on for you. Guiding. Brings to me a vision of home, right? We'll leave the light on for you. Welcome. So we can bring that with us this morning in this talk about keep the light on.
Oh, no matter what happens, turn on the light, keep it on.
Butterworth says, no matter what happens, turn on the light and keep it on. So I don't know if you can see the bottom of this, but it says anger is just one letter away from danger.
Oh,
Isn't that something to kind of tuck away?
yes.
But I love the cat, right? No matter what happens, turn on the light and keep it on. So this morning we're talking about Butterworth again. And it's February, so we're moving further into the book. And he's got a couple of chapters, chapters 7 and 8, that are really all about this. Turn on the light and keep it on no matter what happens. Another Butterworth. If you remember who you are, you will not let yourself be drawn into experiences of another's level of thought. Okay? If we remember who we are, we don't need to be drugged into whatever that is, right? We don't need to be drugged into the drama of someone else's story. You know, often we create stories in our lives, and we hang on to those stories for all we're worth. Some of those stories are really good stories for us, and some of those are stories it's time to let go, right? If we remember who we really are, we can stay who we are. We can still be empathetic. We can still listen, and we can still have a conversation with the person about what's going on. Believe me, Zoya and I had a conversation last night when she came home. And she was talking about the situation, and I said, we haven't talked about what you're going to say for the daily word tomorrow, and the daily word is forgive. All right? It's like, oh, whoa. Here is a situation. And it can be really challenging sometimes to stay in our true selves. We also know that if we tip out of our true selves, we can come back. We can come back. We can say, okay, wait a minute. I need to think about this. And in a way, that's really what Zoya did last night when she went out in the hallway and vented with some other kid and said, I'm really angry because this is what happened. Okay? And then she said, I did not need to have my job taken away from me. I can go back in there and I can take my job back and I can just do it. So that's a step of stepping back into yourself. Another step then is trying to let it go. You know, trying to let it go and not hold on to that frustration and that anger and that resentment, but say, you know what? It's not about me. It's about that other person and the mood they were in and the place they were. Closer to home, you know, we have, sometimes in our own lives, we have some really difficult situations that we face. And people around us have difficult situations. And remembering who we are does not mean forgetting who they are, right? We can still, in fact, that's then part of our job, really, in being in a place of empathy, is helping them remember who they are. Where's your light in this? Where's your light that you can continue to shine in this? So as soon as I said this the other day, remember who you are, the girls went, Lion King. Because there was a line in there, right?
Yes.
Where Simba encounters a vision of his father in the clouds. And his father says, Simba, remember who you are. What's that?
In the clouds, in the spirit.
Yes.
Pop up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He said, remember who you are. Stir up the gift of God which is in thee. I give thanks to Butterworth for this too, because this was in his book. So we're kind of mixing metaphors here, right? Because we've got the light, and then we've got the stirring. I really like this one. This rang real true with me. Stir up the gift of God which is in thee. Because sometimes when we're trying to get back to our own light in a situation, it's kind of like that. It's like, yeah, come on, I know it's in there. I know I can bring it back. And there's almost some energy of stirring it back to the light, stirring it back to where you can access it. You know, if you bake anything, how sometimes things settle to the bottom, right? When you're stirring something, it settles to the bottom, you got to stir it up and get it back to the top again. And sometimes that's what happens with our light, right? It sinks to the bottom and it loses its shine. So stir up the gift which is in thee is another really nice metaphor to take forward. All we must do is correct the tendency to turn off our light when we face darkness. I love the way he starts this, all we must do. Oh, that's all we must do. Does that ever feel challenging? To keep the light on even in darkness? It can feel very challenging. Okay? So keep the light on even in darkness. Butterworth goes in to give a little example of if you were going into a room and people were working at something in very dim light. Would your tendency be to turn off the light or to add more light?
Add more
You want to add more light, right? Yet when we're in difficult situations, we tend to do just the opposite. And we let someone else's dimness bring us to dimness. When what this situation really calls us is for us to remember who we are and bring that into the situation. So sometimes these dim light, darkness, it might be a work situation, it might be with people. Traffic is another one, right? Where sometimes you're like, you forget who you are and you forget that you can be kind and that you can even focus. Sometimes it's that.
When do you have traffic in Payson?
I think some of us leave Payson. I think some of us leave Payson occasionally. Sometimes it's gray. For me, it's gray. That's one of the times I have a difficult time shining my light. So when we have rain, much as my rational brain is going, this is great, we need the rain, another part of me is going, stop already. Where is our sunshine? So those are times I really need to call deep inside myself and say, come on, bring it back up, keep it on coming. So I've asked the youth again to participate this morning, and I've given them a couple of questions, and they can respond to both questions or just one of them. What do you do to keep your light on in a challenging situation? And how do you get your light or yourself back when you're not feeling it? How do you stir it up? So let's get our youth up here and each say, you may have an example to show. Come on, Brandon. And give us a response for this. I'm going to invite you to use the mic. I'm going to turn mine off. And you need to hold the mic right here for it to be helpful.
Like this?
Yes.
Like this?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I'll do the first one. It's basketball. When I first started it, I did practices for tryouts, and I thought I was going to be in the basketball games. But then coach said, "Oh, I'll just have you be a manager," and I didn't feel so good because
What's a manager?
a manager is a person that helps control the team. I don't know how to explain it, but it's to help help the players.
Oh, the players and the coach, right?
Yeah.
Equipment. Hold your mic.
Okay. So then I didn't feel so good being a manager, but I felt a little better. At least I was on the team and not in the team, because the team makes me feel a little bit warmer because I have all these friends now.
And didn't you get a job to do the other day?
Yeah, I had to keep score, keep the fouls, and how many does each team have, and it was a lot of writing and focusing on the game instead of woo. And the second one is music. When I have a hard time, I listen to music because it makes me think of something else and makes me feel a little bit better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You were going to talk about watching movies, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember which question it was.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Well, when I feel like there's no hope and like school is just really repetitive and just boring and it's just like period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 every day, and then going into this zombie mode, going into the next class, and worrying about if you missed any homework or anything like that. When I feel like I don't have any motivation to do anything or even go to college, then I just remember that I'm like, I watch a movie. I watch a movie, and I think to myself, hey, I'm gonna be doing that one day. I'm gonna be in the movie business, and that's what. But I just have to grow old enough to go to college.
Wait, which one am I do?
It doesn't matter which one. Are you going to talk about your artwork, I think, and your necklace?
Oh no, I'm gonna talk about my necklace.
Okay.
About my necklace, it's a little personal thing because I like to wear a necklace all the time, like jewelry, anything like that. But for my necklace, it's for courage, for strength, for honor, for braveness, because every time when I'm like working out at weights in my classroom at school, I'm always working out and I'm trying my best to stay focused, eat right, eat healthy, keep strong, and always try to do my best to catch up my homework, because every time when I'm absent or something like that, it always keeps me stay focused, and when I'm doing the homework, I have to do the problem. Like, I have to take my time for it, and it's the best way for me to do that, but the only way to do it is to stay focused on the game or to do something while you're doing something else for it. So that's my approach, I would say. And my, yeah.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you, all three of you. That was great. I love hearing other people's stories of how they get their leg back, because I have my own ways. I exercise, I try to get outside. That's really my primary things, is keep those endorphins going. And I love to hear other people's, the necklace, that's a symbol for you. Watching a movie and knowing I'm going to be behind that camera someday. Taking advantage of what it means to be a manager and keep the statistics on the game and then understand the game a whole lot better than that. And I heard each one of these kids say the word focus. I heard each one of them say focus. And isn't a lot of this about refocusing, regaining our focus, and keeping our focus on what our gift is to stir up and just keep it there. So thank you so much for telling us those stories. And now, keep the light on. Now we're going to make valentines. And we've got hot glue guns again.